Tove, welcome back to my channel, Tove Minutes, and welcome if you are new. Today it's Sunday for you, Saturday for me, and we're gonna have a little bit of a longer episode of Vlogmas Day 7. Every Sunday I will have a little bit of a podcast episode talking about the week I had, my other rips that I haven't talked about during the week, and sort of where we are and what the next week is gonna look like. So grab something to drink. I wish I had a glass of wine, but I don't. And let's get into it. Today I am wearing my latest finished object, the Bente sweater. And it is now finally blocked and finally dried. And as you can see, I'm just about like sort of smooshing and living in the collar. I do not really know how I'm supposed to wear it yet. If I'm gonna have like low or high, I have to see about that. But the blocking made it exactly what I wanted it to be. A little bit looser, a little bit longer. The arms that I didn't really, the arms that I actually made as short as physically possible by following the pattern is tiny bit, a little bit too long. So if you can see, so when I'm double folding, that's the word, the rib, it is absolutely perfect. It didn't grow. I didn't stretch it at all. I also took very good measurements before blocking to be able to only see sort of stretch it 2-3 centimeters of each measurement I took. Turned out great, and I absolutely love it. It's warm, but it's like merino warm, if that makes any sense. Very, 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 very good. All right, so I have no finished objects today because clearly I don't. I don't know why I need to explain that. Last week I finished so many, 3, and I then of course started on my advent project. So I have no finished objects, but I have started 2 new projects, which is a little bit insane. Let's get into my whips of the week. Of course, my first and foremost whip is my advent project. And here it is. Oh, so good. Okay, I haven't really talked about, well, I did, but okay. Let's take it from the beginning, this whole thing, because it's my own concoction. It's my own recipe, my own pattern. I have done, of course, a lot of borrowing, or, I mean, it's a raglan poncho. How difficult can you make it? But anyway, I did a tubular cast on, first of all, in a 4.5 millimeter needle. With a tubular cast on, going into a 2x2 rib, you have to do a setup row for the 2x2 rib, so that's what I did. And then I knitted 2x2 rib on a 4.5 millimeter needle for, I don't know, 10 centimeters, 8 centimeters. Then I went down to a 4 millimeter needle. And that's where you can see like it's a little bit of a cone shape. This is just to get the outer layer of the rib or the neck a little bit bigger than the inner layer, so it can sort of fold nicely and it's not like super squished. After that, I thought I was gonna continue with 4 millimeter needle, but the fabric I got with that, I didn't like the way it felt. So I changed back to 4.5 millimeter needle when I went into the actual advent yarn. Now this is a scrap yarn that I have, which I will use for the neck and for the cuffs later on, if there will be cuffs. I don't know, we'll see how that works. And then after that, which is a DK weight, sorry. It's DK weight Charisma, drops Charisma. And then after that, this is the advent yarn. And my advent calendar is from Atelier at Volbased. Wicked theme, as you can see, all green. Okay. My advent calendar is a merino, 100% merino fingering weight yarn. So I'm holding it double to get DK weight and making it a little bit easier on myself to knit it up every day, because it's 20 grams worth of knitting every single day. So far, it has gone well. I've knitted all 6 days. So number 1 was this black with a tiny little speck of blue or green. You can barely see it. After that, we went from black into the black green. Would this contrast be a little bit more smooth? Yeah, I would have loved that, but I understand what she or the dyer has sort of, she wanted to get out of the black maybe, because it was quite shocking for me as well to see black, but I understand the whole alphabet starting with the black going into the green. Then we went further into a standard green and into like a gray green, and then went into like a yellow green, and now we're in a yellow green beige pink, guys. Can you imagine it? Even this early. This section actually is really nicely faded. Can you see how much speckles of everything? But then you can see from another point of view where maybe it's not that clear actually. Maybe all sections are quite good. Yeah. It's always different when you knit it and then watch it backwards afterwards. I think it's really good. I think it's beautiful, the fade. Oh. Okay, can I show you this on? Let me see if I can do that. I don't know. Let's see. But let's chat when I put it on my trying on tubing for a little tiny bit. How my Vlogmas has been so far. I had no expectations going in. I definitely thought, and I told myself, I knew that whatever comes out every day comes out. If I have to jump one day, I will. If it's a 3-minute video or a 20-second video, it's awful fine. So far, I have been able to work like one day ahead, except for yesterday, which I took a break from filming yesterday, but I then did 2 videos today, small one and now this one. So far so good. It has been both harder and easier than I thought it was gonna be. Harder in the sense of I'm not used to thinking in vlog ways of doing my life. So constantly I'm thinking, okay, I need to do like a morning segment, a mid segment, and an evening segment. Just snippets. And I'm a millennial, so taking videos and photos is like so far outside my comfort zone and my thinking. So that has been really a lot harder than I thought it was gonna be. But then again, having those snippets, great. Sitting down and talking to the camera, I'm used to that now. So sitting down talking to the camera for a little bit, opening my advent calendar has actually been easier than I thought. The only thing is the planning of the family and the kids and no one being around. That has been quite rough. But it has worked so far. So we'll see how it goes next week. I'm not gonna put any restrictions on myself or like I need to put this out every day now. It's just gonna have to be whatever happens. What's the plan for next week though? So last week I worked the office and home, and I had the kids a whole day, so it was like a little bit of everything, plus we had sent to class. So it was quite a lot of running around and a lot of busy schedule, let's say. This week coming forward is the last full week when we're home here before we go to Finland. I will have again a day with the kids. I will have my days in the office. We will have a Christmas lunch at work, which will be really, really fun. It's always really fun. We have our ugly Christmas sweater themed Christmas lunch, which is always a blast. And is it Lucia next week? Yeah, it's Lucia next week, which means I'm gonna bake my saffron buns. So that's basically it. Plus there's gonna be a Christmas tree at one point next week, if not tomorrow, Monday. There will be a Christmas tree coming up next week. This year we will do a plastic one because we will be going to Finland. Every year we're home, we'll do a proper tree, a Nordman, all of that. I'm really like, it should be a proper tree. If you don't chop it yourself, at least buy a real tree. But every time we go to Finland, we'll do it. We will do a plastic one because it doesn't make sense to do a normal one. Okay, that's gonna be next week. Tomorrow though, Sunday, we always go when we have the moment and time, and my husband's schedule is allowing it, working schedule. We will go for swimming, and that we will do tomorrow. So we have already done that, probably when this comes out. And yeah, a normal Sunday. Other than that, yes. Okay, so I have half of it on try-on tubing. So let's see. Okay, look at that. All right, so let's talk about that. I do think, so I have 4 raglan places. Should this be like this? I don't know. Anyway, I have 4 raglan places, and normally you would do it like this and then go into the sleeves, but I think I'm gonna do mine like this and then go on with the poncho from here because I like sort of that shape. I think I like that shape better than this shape. Yeah, I think so. But it's the same until we get to the rib or the cuffs. So I can just live with it a little bit. The size is really good, I think. The neck is high and a little bit tighter than the bente, which I now actually am enjoying quite a lot. Yeah, the size is good, the raglan increases are good. I'm just going to continue until at least like there, and then maybe do another increase rate, but for now it's increasing every other row with 8 stitches, and I think that's nice because you want it a little bit oversized and you want your arms to be able to move around since it's a poncho. So far so good. I'm gonna open my day 7 in the end of the video, so stay tuned for that. Now I'm gonna go back to my bente. You see the difference between necks, and I like the fact that I have now a option for that. Long tail, as I explained yesterday, this is what I'm doing right now. I'm leaving a long tail so I can fade in the next day in a longer moment. Good. The next project that I have made some progress with is my scrappy socks, or my slip stitch socks, or whatever you call it. I don't even know if there's an actual name to this pattern. These are my leftover colors from last year's advent calendar. My own concoction, as I said. It's a 3 knit 1 slip stitch, very plain in that sense. 2x2 rib in the cuff, and then 6 rows per color, slipping every 3rd stitch every other round. So every other round I do a knit round, and every other round I do a slip stitch round. On the first sock I have made a heel, and this is a normal I can never know what it's called. gusset, heel flappy gusset heel with a slip stitch pattern in the beginning. You can barely see it with this blue yarn. You can see it though. And I worked a couple of rounds on the foot. After that, I decided to go back to the second sock. In the beginning, I knitted this parallel, but since I have so many yarns and balls and it was too much to keep up with that yarn mess, so I cut them loose from each other. And now I started on the second foot, and I'm doing this just to make sure that I have enough yarn, that I'm not doing a full foot and then suddenly I don't have yarn enough. So otherwise I will just sort of fix it in the end and maybe I have enough of the blues, maybe a longer toe. But also, since I am not I'm not keeping these myself, I'm gonna gift them. I'm also wanting to do it sort of parallel until I get down to the toe, and even gift it like that, take measurements and then finish it later on. I'm not sure, or just make it. I think the person has like one size smaller feet than me, which is a good sign. So maybe I'll make it my own, like tight, and then it'll be a little bit big for her. But anyway, I am doing well on that. The plan for the poncho is of course 20 grams, one color per day. And this is at least one stripe per day. Another thing, I'm doing 1 row a day, because that is how difficult this pattern is. It's my doodle tee, and if you're new here, welcome. If you're coming from Vlogmas, you have not seen this whip at all, so now you're gonna see something new. Please go back to my other podcast to see more information about this, but this is my doodle tee. Now the top, the yoke is a pattern from Jennifer Bealey called Heart's Content. So that's not mine, but it's gorgeous. The rest, however, is mine. And I'm really just taking inspiration from patterns, taking information from the internet, or just like books I have and stuff like that, and taking one doodle at a time, finding bits and pieces that I like. And the yarn is a doodle sort of mix from a yarn fair. So it's also something that, yeah, I can't really tell you what it is. My latest doodle was these flowers, and now I'm working on mushroom. And can you see that I finished the cap of the mushroom? Okay, so the mushroom should have 3 dots, but you cannot see that. 1, 2, 3. Maybe when I do a little bit more on the stem, which this yellow part is now, the stem, you'll see it. So the idea is that it's gonna be it's a blue background, the sky, with a red mushroom cap with dots. So it's this poisonous mushroom. Yellow stem, and then halfway through the stem I will change the blue to green to have like grass. That's the idea, and I want to finish this mushroom before Christmas. I'm not gonna bring it with me to Finland. So mushroom, sorry about that, mushroom before Christmas. And I'm doing well. Today, this week I did like 4 or 5 rows, so 1 row per day, that's the plan. That's the doodle tee. And the 4th whip that I have in my whip, like ongoing whip, is the Tekla sweater. I'm not working on that, and I'm not gonna talk about that at all. 2 new cast-ons. 2 weeks ago I had a to-do list. I've made another to-do list, and this is how I'm keeping track on every day if I'm doing it or not. This is the poncho, this is the sock, this is the doodle tee. This is if I did YouTube or not, and I changed that from Tekla to YouTube. Now, this is my cross stitch pattern. which I always do like in the end of the day if I have the time. And I think I will do that today, so that will also be a cross. And then 2 new projects, a hat and Ted's blanket. So let's talk about that. Now the hat, shoot. That is the hat. I have it upstairs and I don't want to wake the kids. This is the hat I made last month, Twisted by Kutovakika. And I made it with 100-gram skein of Tessel yarn that I bought on Tessel. Naturally, so no dyed, it's natural wool with a mix of the actual colors of the sheep. And I made a hat and it's really nice, and I'm using it fully today, every day. It took 52 or 53 grams of yarn, so it's like half the skein, but a little bit more than half the skein. But I do have a chunk of yarn left, so I'm gonna make another one. I started a couple of rows in on the brim. I'm gonna make it as a Christmas present, so I'm not gonna tell you who it is for, but I'm hoping the person that gets it will be happy. The person that gets it is a smaller person, like me. And my hat is quite wide in the brim actually. So it is gonna be perfect if I do 1 centimeter less brim, since I have a little bit less yarn. And then I'm gonna give that to this person. Cool. The idea is that I will chug along on this a couple rows every day, and this will probably be my airplane knitting, that or the sock when I go to Finland, because the poncho at that point will be quite big and I don't want to put that into the plane with me. I'll put that into the check-in bag downstairs. That's the Twisted hat by Kutovakika. So great. And then finally, Ted's blanket. Last week I said, oh, okay, great. I'm done with sweaters. I am now itching to do blanket. And so I did start a blanket today. I have this big boy skein ball, I don't know what, cannonball worth of like 700 grams of acryl yarn. I had another one in pink and purple, which I made my daughter a blanket, and now it's time for my son to get one. This is a great stash buster. I'm not gonna probably make it happen until Christmas, of course. If I would be home, maybe until New Year, but January, February. I don't know how long it's gonna take me. It's my own design. And when I made my daughter's, I had started to think about what I wanted to do to my son. And I did a modular knitted blanket at that point, and I was like, oh, that's nice. So it's gonna be my own twist on modular knitting, and I'll show it to you. And I'm using DPNs. Who am I? Okay, it's a little bit wonky because it's rolling up on itself, but I hope you can see the idea. Okay. Now it's a color changing yarn, but it's a lot of blue in the beginning, but fine. But it's kind of cool though, because the beginning of the beginning, it's this, and it started as a light blue, and it's almost a perfect square. So that's actually quite fun. It's not a perfect square, that's a perfect square from that point. So what I did was I started with a square basically, and after that I'm making these corners using German short rows, basically short rows through like inwards, and then short rows outwards to get this corner. So my idea is that like I started that and a corner again to go in on itself, and then I ended up here. So 2 corner German short rows. Then I ended up here, and then I knitted down, pulling in, like joining a stitch every round I did. Another corner, another corner, and another corner, and then keep going like that, and going around and round and round and round. And you'll get these pointed corners throughout the whole blanket. I think that's really fun. And then you get this detail of the slipped like SS case that I do when I join in the previous section. Also really, really beautiful. It has taken me a lot of brain power to figure it out, but I think I finally got it down. And it's really fun. It's really, really fun. It's a big blanket in the end, but all you have is this. You have 12 stitches on your needle at any point. And that's it. So I'm using the DPNs. 5mm needle. This is the biggest DPN I have. And stockinette stitch. And by using this, I can do mirror knitting really well. I can also do the double stitch, the German short row, also in mirror knitting. So I don't have to flop around the project at all. And this makes me feel good because when it's getting bigger, I don't have to like toss and turn it so much. So it's really nice. It's really fun as well. And it's going so fast. I did this since like 3 o'clock, plus my poncho, plus everything else. So it's really, really good. And hopefully like a good stash busting project. And I hope my son will enjoy it when he gets older. He won't enjoy it now. All right, cool. Now we're coming to the end of this book. This is the Yarn Enthusiast Journal, which I have used the whole 2025 and absolutely loved it. I will not continue with it to the 2026 version because there is some things I'm not using, and the new version also is something that I wouldn't be using either. So I'm gonna make my own version. So we'll talk about that a little bit later. Good, I think that's it. Let's open today's advent calendar. Day 7, oopsie. There you go. Day 7. There you go. I had no spoilers so far at all this week, which is great. You have a first look. Ooh, okay. Well, I guess you can say that it's pink. I am so confused. How is it this pink so fast? And what is gonna happen the rest? I said that yesterday as well. Yeah, pink. Okay, let's pick up the poncho back again. Yeah, I mean, you have some pinks here, and now we're gonna just have like boink pink. I'm hoping the fade is gonna be good. I'm happy that I'm left so much yarn that I can fade this in, but it's a gorgeous, it's very pale on the screen, but it's a gorgeous pale pink with some variegation in the color. Oh, so beautiful. I absolutely love this advent calendar so far. 10 out of 10. Worth every euro, and it was a little bit too many euros maybe. That's it. I've talked for 31 minutes, which means I'm gonna cut it down for a little bit more, a little bit less than that. I think that's good for today. What else? I think nothing. If you're new here and you haven't subscribed, please subscribe and follow along in December. I will be going to Finland, as I said. There I will take a lot of B-rolls of the snow and going to yarn stores. And then I'm gonna take a little bit break for sure. And then come back in the new year with some new fun videos. So please subscribe and give us a like. The algorithm likes posting a lot more, I think, but it does like even more when you get likes and views and comments, and let me know what you're working on. Other than that, I hope you enjoy your Advent season, your December. and you're knitting or crocheting or crafting or life in general. I think that's enough. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a great evening.